Hi, everybody. It's me, Curtis from Clover Press, and I have a couple of boxes I'm going to open up, and I'm going to share with you because we've got some great new releases coming out. I'm very excited to see some of these. They are ones that we kickstarted a while back, and they're finally hitting the retail market. And well, not all of them are hitting the retail market. Some of them, I mean, sorry, yes, they are all hitting the retail market. Some of them weren't on Kickstarter. But I'll explain as we go. And this is very cool. So these were sent to me from Clover Press, from their offices in San Diego, and they always do some really nice work with packaging. And so there's just some bubble wrap. Get rid of that. Oh. Okay. Oh, my friend James is here on the stream here. Curtis is live again. It's been a long time. It's been a little while. And here's another friend of mine, Phil, says hit the like button. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, I would appreciate it if you hit the like button on this video, and if you love subscribing to things, because who doesn't? You can subscribe to the YouTube channel and get a little notification every time we do one of these live unboxings, which is I'm hoping to do one maybe once a monthish because we've got new stuff coming out all the time. Okay, check this out. Dick Tracy. This is the complete Dick Tracy Volume 5 and Volume 6. So, in case you don't know the history of these books, the Library of American Comics, which is this publisher, this publisher right there, they started publishing the complete Dick Tracy after IDW had done 6 volumes. So the Library of American Comics took over after volume 7, and the original volumes were a lot smaller. They were like more of a 6 by 8 size rather than this 11 by 17. And so um we have, let me see here. We did 29, we got up to volume 29 of the complete Dick Tracy, which is all of Chester Gould's run, the entire time he did Dick Tracy until he retired and then passed away. 29 volumes, but those 6 volumes were always the smaller size. And one of the questions that was always asked is, when are we going to go back and reprint the first 6 volumes at the larger size? And so we have done that. Published through Clover Press, we did these first 6 volumes, and so these are the last 2 volumes um, left to go. Let's see, I don't want to tear any of the pages, but I got to get this shrink wrap off so you can see on the inside. The books themselves are exactly the same as the old edition, they're just larger. And this is really important for the Sundays because the Sundays were pretty tiny in that original version. The dailies are about the same size, but it's the Sundays that just read better. Okay, so I've got my second camera here. I'm going to add it to the stage and give it a little solo so we can take a look. Some nice end papers there. So in the original books, they have some essays at the beginning here. This one's by Max Allan Collins, who eventually took over writing Dick Tracy, illustrated with some nice pictures of the film series that Dick Tracy was a part of way back when. And then some by J.C. Vaughn. He did a series of articles all about memorabilia, Dick Tracy memorabilia. So there's some really cool pictures and some really cool artifacts and articles about all of the stuff that was made in support of the comic strip way back when. Really neat stuff. Then we get into the comic strips. So as you can see, it's a 3 dailies per page. So you get Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, all on a nice double page spread. And you turn the page, and then you got a Sunday comic with the banner at the top there. And so it's again, the 3 tiers, and you can see it a lot better. Not so clear on my camera, unfortunately, but there you go. So these years are the 1937 or 1938 to 1939, and Volume 6 goes to 1941, partway through 1941. This is when the Rogues Gallery starts to take form, but Dick Tracy's twisted and deformed Rogues Gallery doesn't actually start until the 40s. So this is still a little bit before that. So yeah, Dick Tracy, of course, is on the case. It sounds hollow as a barrel. Really fun adventures here. He gets mixed up with um, some gangs and a lot of the mob characters and has to solve a whole ton of mysteries and gets placed in very perilous situations, often involving fire and all this kind of stuff. Steve the Tramp comes back in this volume. Um, there you go. So this is kind of neat. This is, I think, when Chester Gould really starts to come into his own. The volumes before this, a lot of them are um, testing things out, and Dick Tracy's not quite a fully formed character yet, and just he's just learning his craft. But this is where I feel like it really, really feels like Dick Tracy, and this lasts all through the 40s when they start messing around with the weird characters. Okay, so that's the first box. Oh, also, let's while you're here, I'm just gonna put this on the shelf because I cleared off some room on my shelf up here for these two volumes. So how does that look? Really cool. I love it. I don't have all 29 volumes because I wasn't collecting them as quickly as I should have been, and I missed out on some of the ones that are going for really high prices. So I would love reprints of that stuff, and I think that whoops, some of you have the same question. Any plans to continue the reprints after Volume 6? I procrastinated, so my collection is spotty and a lot of waiting on eBay alerts. So I can tell you right now that Clover Press and Library of American Comics, we don't have plans to reprint the hardcovers because they are just too expensive. These books, in order to actually make any money on them, the cover price has to be like 65 bucks. So that is not sustainable for another 29 volumes. But we have ideas on how to get that content out anyway in different formats. So we don't have anything set in stone quite yet. So wait for an official announcement. But we do plan on keeping Dick Tracy in print in some way, and maybe even going past the Chester Gould years. So we'll see what the future has in store. Hopefully, we'll be able to make an announcement about that fairly soon. This Facebook user says, "I want your room, Kurtis. Thanks. It took a long time to get it to this state. I love being surrounded by books, and I always have a good selection of stuff to read." Okay, opening up the second book. Uh, it's not old newspaper comic strips. In fact, this is a very, very different. Clover Press publishes a wide variety of different stuff. So this is completely, completely different. It's not superheroes. It's not old comic strips. It's not even comics. What could possibly be in here, you say? Well, I have The Great Gatsby. This book, of course, fell into the public domain a couple years back, and so we have printed our own edition. Now, if you haven't seen it already, we did this absolutely stunning version of The Great Gatsby in graphic novel form. It's absolutely beautiful. It is such a great adaptation. I read it cover to cover and really, really great. And so this version right here is the novel itself. Um, I've got too much glare on my screen here. It's the novel, but we've inserted some of the really great panels from the comic book as spot illustrations throughout the book. So it makes for a very dynamic read. Full color illustrations to go along with the actual original novel. Very, very cool. I think there's something like 20 images in all in here, and really great. So if you don't have yourself a copy of this great book already, then you might want to do it. It's a classic. It's a fantastic read, and it is there now for you, both the novel and the graphic novel version with really nice foil, um, shiny foil covers there. There you go. Nick C says, one of my favorite novels ever. I need to check out that graphic novel. Nick, I don't think you'll be disappointed. I really don't. It's excellent. It's a great adaptation, one that you will be proud to have on your shelf. And it's um, adapted by Ted Adams, who is the founder of IDW. And it is drawn by Jorge Coelho, who did a short run on Batman, I believe. Not a not a terribly well-known name, but he's a phenomenal artist. Okay, this is a massive book. Oh, here, this is why it's so much glare. Let's get that out of there. Godzilla and Kong. This is the cinematic storyboard art of Richard Bennett. And if you don't know that name, Richard Bennett, he did some comic book work in the 90s during the rise of Image era. So he did a few issues of X-Men back in the 90s. And he worked on things like Gen 13 and that kind of thing as well. But he has that kind of very Image style to his art. But then he got into storyboarding for movies, and he's done a lot of work on that, including work on many of the Marvel movies and all of the King Kong and Godzilla movies for Legendary. So this is a book, a, a big fat storyboard collection. And let's take a look inside here. This is going to be, oh, all right, get rid of Nick's comment there. Um, for those of you who like this kind of stuff, um, it's just page after page. We had to work with Legendary and deal with a lot of the licensing agreements, of course, because it's not just Legendary, but Toho as well. Let me get that light back over here. That's why I had the light to make sure there are no shadows on this. But you can see here, we have a forward. We have storyboards from Kong Skull Island, Godzilla King of the Monsters, Godzilla versus Kong, and an afterword and biographies and stuff. In total, over 420 pages. So a pretty massive book, but really, really cool. And you can see the quality of these storyboards is just excellent. Of course, they're not as refined as comic book art gets because these are done on the quick usually, and they're not usually meant for publication, but they are good enough because Richard Bennett is just an incredible artist that we get to see a lot of this great stuff. And then interspersed with some stills from the movie so you can see what it looked like going from storyboard to the actual finished product. And one of the highlights is that there are some deleted scenes and stuff that never made it into the movie, and we have collected those scenes in these books as well. This is all printed on really thick, glossy paper, so it brings out the sharpness of all of the line art. And there's a few notes from Richard himself here and there scattered throughout here. And yeah, very, very cool. Look at that. Some of these are called keyframes. So they deserve a page of their own. Lots of King Kong. Where's the Godzilla? So anyway, oh yeah, what's his name? King Ghidorah, I think. I can't remember all of the monsters. There's so many monsters in that last movie, pulling from the years of Toho um, mythology. There's some Godzilla versus Kong cave paintings or whatever, wall paintings. Very neat stuff. Oh, there we go. So if you are interested in that, it is available. If you go over to cloverpress.ca, you can get yourself a copy right now. Otherwise, it'll be coming into stores soonish. I think maybe, man, I forgot to write down my dates in a few weeks. $65. It's a big fat book, really heavy. Okay, I got one more book to share with you. Oh, so heavy. That's a sign of a good book, right? When it's really heavy, the heavier the better. One last book to show you. Here's another big one. This is called the Spawn Till You Die: The Art of Ray Troll. And have you heard of this artist, Ray Troll? I'm guessing even if you haven't heard of this artist, you may have seen his work on T-shirts because he does a lot of T-shirts. And he's from Alaska. He lives up in Alaska, and he's very, very popular up there in that community. And a lot of his work is very iconic. And he's just a hilarious guy too, really, really funny. So I don't know if this looks familiar to you or not. This kind of stuff, this kind of style. The Empire Strikes Bass. Um, Octopi Wall Street. So here, I'll bring in my second camera so you can see. The question in the chat says, does Clover Press ship to the UK? We do, but we are, of course, at the mercy of postal rates, which, especially with these heavy books, is really, really expensive. So they should be all orderable through your local comic shop, actually. So if you go to your comic shop, they can order these through Diamond, or your bookstore can order them through Ingram, and you'll be able to get those books that way. So I would suggest trying to find a local retailer that will make it easier on your pocketbook. Unfortunately, it's so expensive to ship, even to Canada, where I am. It's ridiculous. So Ray Troll has been doing this work for decades, and he loves fish, and he's actually very, very well versed in the study of whatever it is, fishology, pulp fishing. I like that parody there. He's got a great sense of humor. He loves bad puns, and I love bad puns. So here's a Kawasaki. Love it. And he puts all this stuff on T-shirts. So, and that's the kind of stuff you see in tourist gift shops and that kind of stuff. But hook, line, and thinker. So great. And he's a nice guy. And he did some snowboard stuff. There's a video that went viral not too long ago where a skier found a snowboarder stuck upside down in a snowbank, buried in snow. And the guy noticed he noticed the red of the snowboard sticking out of the snow. Otherwise, he would have skied right past him. Was able to dig him out and save his life. Pretty amazing. So let's see here. The heavier the better. Evergreen live streams. We're losing you to the omnibus world. Yeah, I do. So everybody knows that I love Marvel's Epic collections, and that those are the paperback versions. Um, I'm not opposed to big books at all, but if there is a smaller paperback version of it, then I'm all for that because I like to be able to take my books with me where I go. But when it's something like this, these art books, I love them big. This is great. Just page after page of fantastic artwork. Um, he's just got some really, really great designs. So this is part of our art book series. We've done a lot of art books. Some of them are based on Korean and Taiwanese artists. There's another one about Dracula by Ricardo Delgado, and of course, I've mentioned already the Marvel, or did I mention it already? We have some Marvel art books coming up pretty soon. Marvel art of David Mack, um, Alex Malev, and David Nakayama. Happily Ever Raptor. This is one of my favorites. I like that. And look at this. The Raptors have feathers on him because he likes to keep up to date with all of the new and current scientific theories about things going on. Um, but yeah, our art books, they're pretty cool. This one is great. Um, also available, it's not this picture exactly, but we made a puzzle of one of these circular designs that you can get off of our website as well. This one's coming into stores, I think, next week. So you'll be able to get yourself a copy, or you can order it from Ray Troll's website, or you can order it from cloverpress.ca. But there you go. That's a big old coffee table art book for you. There you are. So what's coming up for Clover Press in the near future? Like I said, we have those Marvel art books, and we have another Marvel Kickstarter coming very soon. Can't tell you who the artist is, but it's somebody that I think anybody who is a fan of Marvel Comics, except for Phil Owens, this guy, he probably won't be excited, but most of you will be. He's a very high-profile Marvel artist, and then other than that, we got a couple of new Kickstarters coming up as well. One of them is bringing back to print an old graphic novel from the early 90s that hasn't been in print for a long time, again by another very well-known artist who's done work for Marvel and DC, but I'm not gonna let it slip who that is quite yet. But hopefully we'll have that announcement coming very soon. And then yeah, then of course we've got some comic strip books planned, not just Dick Tracy, but some other ones that are in the works. All of these announcements hopefully will be coming soon. So stay tuned to Facebook, stay tuned to Instagram, and like and subscribe all of these channels so that you can stay in the know and get notifications whenever we have updates. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this video, everybody, and you can check out Spawn Till You Die, the fin art of Ray Troll, not the fine art, the fin art, and the cinematic storyboard art of Richard Bennett. And of course, I already put Dick Tracy Volume 5 and 6 up on my shelf. All of this stuff is now available at cloverpress.com, and it'll be hitting retail very, very, very soon. So thanks, everybody, for watching. Appreciate you all, and I hope that you have a great rest of your weekend.